You guys won't believe what I found out. I found out that 69% of our views last month came from people that aren't subscribed. Not so nice. What would be very nice if you could help us get to 169K subs. So please hit that big red button. Let's make our daily lives a little bit more normal. Okay, let's get into the latest news and rumors. I mean, we're talking about the number 69. We got to talk about Gronk and the impact that he is about to have on the NFL. So he was traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday. And when this went down, I was like, there's no flipping way. But guess what? NFL, Rob Gronkowski, it is a duo match made in heaven. And I was out there looking at the latest Super Bowl 55 odds. And the Buccaneers, they went from having 9 wins to 9.5 wins, which actually now the Bucs are tied for 5th with the best odds to go out and win Super Bowl 55. I mean, it is a pretty crazy scenario for the Tampa Bay Bucs to think that you didn't only go out and get Tom Brady. You went out now and traded for Gronk, who you can say what you want about Gronk recently. I know that injuries have definitely hampered his ability to stay on the field, but you're looking at arguably one of the top 5 greatest tight ends in NFL history, not for what he's been able to do on the field, but also, if you want to talk about selling tickets, selling jerseys, which this Tampa Bay team, this organization is going to want to do, I would argue that Brady and Gronk are going to be the 2 biggest jersey sales of the entire offseason. If I'm wrong, I'll eat crow for it. But this is a fun and interesting thing going down in the NFC South. I love football. I love talking about it. And anytime that we can really talk about a big-time story like this with everything going on in the world is right now, hey, I'm all about it. But the NFC South is juicy, and I can't wait to watch some football this year. So who's going to win it? Type P for the Panthers, type B for the Bucs, type S for the Saints, or you can type F for Falcons. If you want to know who I think's winning it, hit me up on IG at Mitchell Renz 365. All right, let's keep the show moving here. We got another trade rumor, of course, around Trent Williams because he's never seen to die. So the Redskins have talked to multiple teams about a potential trade with Williams. This is according to Ian Rappaport. And I don't really think that this is too much new news, but Williams has been on the trade block for months. Right? I mean, we're getting almost now close to a year. And I think personally that it is time for both sides to move on. And in fact, there was a report that came out a few hours ago that said the Vikings and the Williams were really close to a trade, but it fell through. Now, this is a tweet that came from Josina Anderson a little bit earlier today. There's an opportunity to have something done shortly. I'm told that there's been some really good constructive conversations, and there's hope that a deal will get done soon. My understanding is it's a positive situation and the process is ongoing. So I saw that tweet and I was like, oh, wow, this might actually happen. And then Mike Garafolo came out with this tweet, and I think this is a little bit more telling. Interesting note on the Trent Williams situation. The Redskins have closed the window for Williams and his agent Vince Taylor to work out a trade. Sources tell me teams often want full control of these situations heading into the draft, and that's the case here. So basically what this is saying is if Trent Williams is going to get traded, it's not going to be through him and his agent. It's going to be through the Washington Redskins, which I think is a very, very interesting scenario. And I'm going to talk about an interesting scenario that's going to happen with the Redskins because we might actually see a trade that goes down with Trent Williams, and it might even impact the number 2 overall pick. But speaking of the NFL draft, you guys like the NFL draft. We love the NFL draft, and we're going to be live for all 7 rounds, analysis on 255 picks. If a trade goes down, if a pick goes down, you're going to hear it here first because we get the picks before you see them on television. Last year, Chat Sports was the number 1 most watched NFL draft on the entire internet, and we're going to be the exact same. So please join us. Click that big red button that says subscribe. If you can't find the subscribe button, I'll put this in the comments. I'll put it in the description. But I promise you one thing. Our shows are a lot different than a lot of other draft shows. It's like a watch party. And if you want to have a good time, we're going to be taking you guys through all the picks. Okay, speaking of the number 2 pick and speaking of the Washington Redskins, this is a report that came out, and the Redskins have received a complete offer from one team for the number 2 overall pick. This is according to Josina Anderson. So what exactly does that mean? That means an actual NFL team presented the Redskins with a trade for number 2 with all the pieces intact. We don't know what the details are. We don't know what exactly is involving that trade. But I do think it's pretty interesting that this report comes out shortly after all this Trent Williams trade talk. I'm wondering if these two could be connected. Now, Chase Young out of Ohio State is expected to be the number 2 pick. And the Redskins have even said themselves, like, we're probably going to take Chase Young. However, Ian Rappaport did send out a tweet that said that they do intend, on at least listening. What I would take out of that is if you're an NFL team not listening to every offer, you're not doing your job. I do fully expect the Redskins to take Chase Young tomorrow on draft day. So for those of you that see this video on YouTube, predicting the NFL draft, it's not easy. So I got a challenge for you, and I'm going to make this the pinned comment. So you might get with an ad break. While the ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down, and I want you to predict the first 5 picks of the 2020 NFL draft. Currently, this team has the number 5 pick. It's the Miami Dolphins, but according to a report, the Dolphins have been calling teams to try to trade up with the eye of getting, listen to this, not a quarterback, but an offensive tackle. And I thought it was a pretty interesting note, the fact that the Dolphins could trade up to get an OT when Rappaport comes out and says that we could see a run on tackles in the top 10 like we've never seen before. But we've talked about tanking for Tua. We've talked about the multiple rumors around the Dolphins, not just this offseason, heck, going into the college football year, that they were going to tank to go out and get the top quarterback at the time, Tua. But now it's not happening. So when I really think about who the Dolphins could potentially trade him up with, I see the Detroit Lions. And when I think about the top offensive tackle prospects, these are the 4 names that jump out to me. Tristan Wirfs, Jedrick Wills Jr., Andrew Thomas, Mekhi Becton. I do think it's between Wirfs and Wills Jr. to be the top OT selected in the 2020 NFL draft. I'll tell you what, though, if the Dolphins do trade up, it's going to be a lot of fun. And speaking of trading up, here at Chat Sports, we drop a lot of videos, okay? So I told you in the beginning of the show that we're trying to make life a little bit more normal. The Big C, it's weird. So if we can make extra videos to help y'all just feel like everything's back to normal, that's what we're here for. So if you're curious and to see some teams that we think could trade up, go check out this video on our channel. And again, hit that sub button. You see the Carolina Panthers, they're on there. Well, maybe they could actually also trade down, because the report is the Panthers are open to trading pick number 7. And this has been something that Tom Downey, that I've talked about multiple times, because you see the bottom note there. It just makes a lot of sense for this Panthers team to move down in the draft, because they've lost so many pieces this offseason. However, the interesting note that I see there is the second note, where Carolina could slide a few spots back if a team wanted to come up and grab a quarterback, a corner, or a tackle. So what do we hear? We're hearing a lot of rumors around tackles. We're hearing a lot of rumors around quarterbacks. Cornerback, though, is kind of interesting. What this tells me is if Isaiah Simmons is on the board, they're not trading down. That's what that second note tells me. So speaking of trading down, we did a video on trading up. Guess what? We also did a video on teams that could trade down or that should trade down. Bottom line, you're not going to find another channel out there that does the live shows that we do. You're not going to find another channel that cares about y'all like we do. We're trying to make life normal. Click that sub button. Go out and check out that video, teams that should trade down. So I can't even believe that tomorrow is the NFL draft. I'm stoked. So this might be the last day to take advantage of this deal. So go ahead and jump on it. Chatsports.com/NFL draft hat, under $40. Go get your favorite team. I'm still waiting on my Raiders hat, but I want y'all to go out and rep your team. Go to chatsports.com/NFL draft hat. That one that you see on screen is $33. The flat bill, they're $40. I'll put it in the description. We'll put it in the comments section below. Let me know if you've already gotten a hat. You can hit me up on IG or Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. We want to make sure these things are good, because for the first time in a long time, they actually look pretty slick. That Eagles hat, I'm wondering if Henry Ruggs is going to be thrown on one of those bad boys, because according to a report, Ruggs has heard from 4 teams the most. Those teams, the Las Vegas Raiders, the San Francisco 49ers, the Denver Broncos, and the Philadelphia Eagles. I fully anticipate Ruggs to be drafted in the top 15, and he deserves to be. I understand that this is one of the deepest wide receiver classes we've seen in a long time. But the interesting note there is if the Raiders, 49ers, and Broncos, if they're all there top 15, the only team that's not in the top 15 is the Philadelphia Eagles, who have picked 21. So if the Eagles really want to go out and get Ruggs, I think that they 100% have to trade up for him. then you're probably also going to have to give up a second, maybe a third round pick, because the other interesting thing about those teams obviously is they're all looking for a wide receiver. And if the Eagles want to jump them, you probably have to get up to pick number 10 with the Browns, because at pick 11, the New York Jets, they're also looking for a wide receiver. But the wide receiver I think the Jets go with is Henry Ruggs' teammate, Jerry Jeudy, who did put up better numbers than Ruggs. But the one thing that Jeudy, the one thing that CeeDee Lamb, the one thing that they don't have that Henry Ruggs has, and in fact nobody has in this year's draft class, is the elite speed, because he is the fastest. And let me say it again, the fastest player in this year's class. He ran a 4.2740. That's top 5 in NFL combine history at the wide receiver position. He's electric, he's fun, and I can't wait to see which NFL draft hat he goes on and puts on draft day. So who will draft Henry Ruggs III out of Alabama? Throw it in the comments section below. Is it going to be the Eagles, the Raiders, the 49ers, the Broncos? Could it be another team? Throw it in the comments. If I had to put my money where my mouth is, I think it's going to be the San Francisco 49ers. If you disagree with me, you know where to find me. The last rumor on today's show is around a wide receiver who could come out of retirement. I bet you some of y'all were like, is it Calvin Johnson? Is it Calvin Johnson? Sorry, it's Percy Harvin. But, let's not forget, Percy Harvin, when on the field, is a very, very good player. And he's got that itch to come back. Percy, maybe I should hook you up with some Manscaped stuff. But he says that he's been training with a former Olympian and that he's down to 185 pounds. The issue has never been that Percy Harvin's been out of shape. The issue has never been that Percy isn't a good player. The issue has always been his entire career is, he could never stay healthy. And he's also come out that he literally had to basically get high before games just so he was able to play. And so he wasn't able to deal with the injuries. With the new CBA rules now, he's going to be able to do that. But you're looking at a very dynamic player who just missed, and I'm saying this, a ton of football games throughout his entire career. I mean, and you got to go back to thinking in 2016 when he was the last time he played for the Buffalo Bills. But I do have a, chart here of how many games that he's played, and it's not pretty. So in 2016, he played in only 2 games. In 2015, he played in only 5 games. 2014, he played with the Jets and the Seahawks, 13 games total. 2013 was only able to play in 1 game. In fact, he has only played in one 16-game season his entire career. It has nothing to do with his ability, because he is an incredible player. And in the first 3 years when he first came out of Florida, he was a punt returner, he was a kick returner, a receiver, a rusher, could do it all. But if Percy Harvin is able to stay healthy, it's going to be really interesting. So you know what I'm going to ask you. That's what Chat Sports is all about. We're a live and interactive YouTube channel that wants you to get your votes in. Will Percy Harvin play in the NFL again? Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. And if you made it this far in the video, don't be one of those 69% of the people. Go ahead, click that subscribe button.